the boy downstairs, Zosha Mamet, who's one of the stars of HBO's Girls, who I thought was a very engaging lead. She plays Diana, who is somebody coming out of college. She wants to be a writer and has gone to London sort of on sabbatical. And she comes back to New York, to Brooklyn, and she needs to find somewhere to stay. And she goes to an apartment which she's shown by a sort of rather iffy, slightly snotty estate agent. And she's told that she has to meet the building's owner if she wants to stay in the apartment. She meets the building's owner, and very nice. They form a friendship. Suddenly everything seems great. She's back on, where she wants to be, and she's made a new friendship. And then she discovers that also living in the same brownstone apartment is a name that rings a bell, which is the boyfriend that she left in order to go away, with whom she broke up in order to go away. Now she appears to have moved back unknowingly into his apartment, which is awkward for her, awkward for him, and even more awkward for their friends.
Oh, wow, look who it is.
Julian.
Diana.
Hi.
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 Sorry.
Hi.
What's up?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Ben told me you moved into his building.
Yes, that happened. Yes.
It's weird, right?
Excuse me?
It's weird for you to do that. It's kind of like a crazy ex-girlfriend thing to do.
I mean, I didn't know that he lived there. Building.
How would you?
Exactly.
How would you?
Exactly. How would I?
I don't know. I gotta go, but it's great seeing you.
So the film is written and directed by Sophie Brooks, and I think it's her debut feature. And it's a really odd one because I didn't know much about it beforehand. I just knew the title, which I just wasn't quite sure, how to take the title. Sounded a little quirky, and I'd seen a couple of things that suggested that it was going to be on that. I've just think the bridge between quirky and irksome is very, very small. But I actually really liked it, and I really liked it for a number of reasons. The first one is that I thought it did a very good job of capturing the awkward intimacy of relations, particularly of estranged relationships, because what happens is the film plays out in two different time periods. You see in flashback her relationship with her boyfriend, they're meeting their growing relationship, and then they're eventually breaking up. And then that is intertwined with the scenes of her then coming back. And it's like, well, how do we relate to each other now? How are we friends? Are we not friends? Is there still a thing going on? And of course, it turns out that the estate agent who showed around the apartment is now living with her boyfriend. So there's lots of, moments for that kind of, that awkward comedy, that's comedy of manners in which people are in slightly awkward circumstances, but it's really well observed, and it is very funny. I laughed a lot, and there's a lot of it that is very funny, but it's also very poignant and very kind of touching. And crucially, although I know that some people find some of the characters in the film a bit annoying, I understood their world, and I believed in their world, and I crucially believed in their relationships. That's the first thing. The second thing is, as I was watching it, a lot of people said afterwards that it reminded them of things like, Greta Gerwig and Woody Allen. And the thing it really reminded me of was, do you remember I reviewed that film by Nicole Holofcener called Walking and Talking, which starred Catherine Keener? This is quite a long time ago.
But no then.
Okay.
Remind me.
Well, I think it was the first film in which I'd seen Catherine Keener, or certainly the first film in which I was aware of Catherine Keener. And it's this really lovely and quite grown up story of of a couple sort of falling in and out of their relationship, and the title Walking and Talking, it's about them kind of finding their way. And there's one moment in it when the couple are driving along in a car, and there's this lovely moment that just suggests how well they now know each other. Is that one of them, the guy who's driving, I can't remember, either he's driving or she's driving, but whoever is driving, they're on a country road, wants to take their jumper off. So he just taps the person next to them, and the person takes the steering wheel while they take the jumper off, which incidentally is a very, very dangerous thing. Don't do it. It's a movie device. But it was a shorthand movie device for saying this is how well they know each other. And there's a similar moment to that in this. And it reminded me very much of that phrase, people, loose-limbed. When people say something is loose-limbed, I mean, it has a kind of casual, relaxed feel to it. But it also reminded me of how much well-done comedy like that looks casual when it isn't, when it's anything but. And, I was doing this program for BBC4 recently and thinking about, When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle, and those brilliant Nora Ephron scripts, and actually brilliant Nora Ephron direction. And it's so easy to mistake those things for being as casual as they appear. There's nothing casual about making a film that actually genuinely seems to be casual. That's actually very difficult. So I thought it was really charming. I came out of it, and there was a couple of people who said, "What do you think?" Somebody said, "Oh, I found that very annoying," and I found this character. And I was really taken aback because I had really been moved by it. I had believed in their relationship. I'd come to know them as characters. I liked the sort of the bumbling, slightly shambling quality of the boyfriend who couldn't quite express himself. I liked the fact that it was seen from the point of view of a character whose world we understood, who wanted to be a writer, who kept being told not to give up being a writer, and it doesn't have, sort of trite. It doesn't attempt to tie all its loose ends up. Anyway, I thought it was really rather charming, really rather delightful. It's called The Boy Downstairs, and it won me over, and I had a little cry as well. And I thought it was very, very touching and charming.